as you know, the president's been expressing concerns about delayed counting and possibly the American people never knowing the true results of the presidential election. So I wanted to see what you thought could happen with the added influx of mail-in voting. Could we see a need for a national recount? And how long do you think we will have to wait, the American people, the public, to get the results from the presidential election, given how much mail-in voting is going to occur? And now that the USPS could have an additional $25 billion to process, shows the magnitude of how much mail-in voting there will be. Thanks.
Well, thank you. I think the issue you brought up is the exact reason why the U.S. Postal Service notified certain states and localities how that if they follow their set guidelines and laws that they may have passed in their own state, they may butt up against the delivery ability of certain postal centers. So that pre-election communication, I think, was essential from the post office because we saw what happened in New York State, New Jersey, and others, where we didn't have election results for 6 weeks until after the election. And that was just the last few months. So these are the concerns that I know the president has. I certainly hope that the president wins in a very timely manner on election night so that we all know what the result is, because none of us want to go through what happened in 2000 with the recount in Florida. But those are concerns that I know are being brought to the forefront. And one of the main reasons why we're doing this roundtable today. We have to have communication. We want to be able to let people know and hear from our local election officials. They are the ones that unfortunately have been shut out in this process over the last 2 years on the Committee on House Administration, where we're not seeing local election officials and get their voices heard like we're giving them a chance to today.
Yeah, the president's comments, I believe, were more geared to state and local election officials and their ability to process mass numbers of ballots being brought in, because whether or not the post office can handle the volume has only been a question by the Democrats, who have tried to make a political process out of this. The issues that are being faced at the Postal Service have been happening for years. This is nothing new. Postmaster General DeJoy was brought in to actually try to improve service. And so the changes have actually been made in order to improve service. In fact, Ruth Goldway, who actually served as chairwoman and commissioner of the U.S. Postal Regulatory Commission and a Democrat, stated regarding the post office's ability to handle the volume of ballots. She said, don't fall prey to the alarmists on both sides of this debate. The Postal Service is not incapacitated and is fully capable of delivering the mail. So the concerns I think that the president are raising are not with the Postal Service itself, but with the states who put unreasonable deadlines of even requesting ballots within 4 days of the election, as well as those states and counties, their ability to handle and process the number of ballots that come in a timely manner.
You know, when and why did these states change their laws and their processes? I mean, this is intentional on their part, and I don't think there's been, quite honestly, enough candid reporting on that. And that is that's my concern with what's happening right now. When and why did the states change their laws and processes?
Thank you.
And Rodney, my concern is just what Barry gave evidence to that's happening in Maryland. I mean, for the life of me, I do not understand why a citizen of this country is not concerned about either, illegal aliens or foreign governments coming in stuffing ballot boxes in this country. I mean, it looks like to me that based on what some of these states are adopting, I mean, Russia, China, anybody could come in and vote if they can find an address and postmark it, their vote would count. And to me, that is absurd.
briefly, we had a lot of testimony, and it included actually one instance where at 4 years a person had been deceased and they received an absentee ballot request in the mail. So a number of different pieces of testimony with all the things that have been mentioned. But I thought it worth mentioning that deceased people were getting absentee ballot requests in the mail.
Yeah, and if we're seeing absentee ballot requests go out to people who, are erroneously registered due to death or due to, moving from that particular address, imagine how ripe for fraud it would be if live ballots were mailed out. And Rick brings up a process called ballot harvesting. It's legal in California, illegal in North Carolina. A Republican operative will likely go to jail in North Carolina for breaking the law and harvesting ballots in a race that we had to have a special election to fill for Congress, for a congressional seat. However, if that person was doing the same thing in California, nothing would be done because the process is legal in California. We've done a report on ballot harvesting at the Committee on House Administration. Please go to our website. I believe it's Committee House Administration Republicans, and you can see that report where our team went to California during the presidential primary and noted some of the concerns that we laid out in that report.